Hello and welcome to the Oikos Family Podcast. I'm Sonja Wood. Thank you for joining me. In today's podcast, I would like to share with you a short story from The King's Daughter and Other Short Stories for Girls. I mentioned in the previous podcast of the value that we found and gained from these short stories. Consequently, I narrated the book, and it's got about approximately 40 stories in it, short stories and little poems and so on. But the value of these stories to us was extremely rich and good and wholesome. Good old-fashioned literature with wonderful morals and opportunities of stories that we can read aloud and then use the content to help us in our parenting and help us to teach a lesson, or just for a child to listen to it on their own, and just the little seeds to be sprinkled in their hearts, and hopefully it will support them in their journey through life. So I'm going to share one of those short stories here in today's podcast, and I hope you enjoy it. And I hope if one of your children is listening to it, or if you think of a friend or somebody that you think it might be supportive to or helpful for, that is the point. I hope it will be helpful and that you will enjoy it. So thank you for joining me and enjoy the story. Nothing finished. I once had the curiosity to look into a little girl's workbox. And what do you suppose I found? Well, in the first place, I found a bead purse, about half done. There was, however, no prospect of finishing it, for the needles were out and the silk upon the spools all tangled and drawn into a complete wisp. Laying this aside, I took up a piece of perforated paper, which lay upon a Bible, with the words, "I love." But what she loved was left for me to imagine. Beneath the Bible lid, I found a stocking, evidently intended for some baby foot, but it had come to a stand just upon the little heel, and there it seemed doomed to remain. Near to the stocking was a needlebook, one cover of which was neatly made, and upon the other, partly finished, was marked, "To my dear." I need not, however, tell you all that I found there, but this much I can say, that during my travels through the workbox, I found not a single article complete. And silent and dumb as they were, these half-finished, forsaken things told me a sad story about that little girl. They told me that, with a heart full of generous affection, and with a head full of useful and pretty projects, all of which she had both the means and the skill to carry into effect, she was still a useless child, always doing but never accomplishing her work. It was not a lack of industry, but a lack of perseverance. Remember, my dear little friends, that it matters but little what great thing we undertake. Our glory is not in that, but in what we accomplish. Nobody in the world cares for what we mean to do, but people will open their eyes to see what men and women and little children have done.